What is up, everyone? JD here. Hope you're doing well today. We're going to be doing the full review for the Riff Raff. Let's get into it. All right, so what we're going to be doing today is we're going to do some size comparisons, profile comparisons, and then we're going to run through the knife. So I'm going to start it out with a couple of budget variants here, and I'm going to bring out the Civivi Vision R, one of my favorite budget releases from Civivi this year, and we're going to bring out the Civivi Counter Strike. Sentinel Strike. I'm getting it confused with the Hogue. Sentinel Strike, my apologies. Two really amazing budget line Civivis that have really just hit the marks for me this year. As you can see though, the Riff Raff is more of that fifth pocket, small secondary companion knife, or maybe something that you could carry into the office. Let's go ahead and move these two out of the way, and then we will check it against the Spyderco Para 3 with the Applied Weapon Tech scale, and you can see this is really a good comparison knife here. They're very comparable in size, very similar in blade length and handle length. So if you like this size knife, this is going to be right up your ballpark. If you're more of a Mannix 2 or Shaman type person, you're going to see that this is just much smaller overall. I like that comparison against the Para 3 though. That is a really good comparison. This is a great alternative companion carry knife with your main carry. Here it is against the Padre. I'm going to go ahead and move the Para 3 out of the way, and then I wanted to compare it against a medium knife. So here it is against the Miguron Keurig 2, I think it's Keurig. Always mess it up a little bit when I say it the first time. But as you can see, it is much smaller. So let's do some profile comparisons. I like to do these so that you get an idea of the thickness of the knife, so you'll know how it'll feel in hand, but also, you know, how's it going to do in pocket? How might it do in a pouch? So very comparable again to that Para 3. I think this is a really good size reference for that knife. And then we'll go ahead and do it against the Miguron Keurig 2. And you can see about the same thickness. So we did the profile. I'm just curious to check the weight out. I never really looked this up. I just like to weigh them myself. Again, just to get a frame of reference for how it's going to, I'm dealing with a lot of reflectivity here. How it's going to, feel in hand, obviously, but how's it going to carry in pocket? I'm thinking 3.5 to 4 ounces. So yeah, 3.4 ounces, for a knife that has a 3-ish inch blade, that's really not that bad. And actually this has a 3.12 inch 20 CV flat ground blade with a swedge out on the top, and I think they just did such a great job. The finish on it looks really nice. It came with a really good edge from the factory, and of course, it's thin enough behind the edge that if you want to lay it back some, you can. This is not the thinnest edge I've felt on a Civivi. I would say it's a little bit thinner than a medium edge there, so it's going to be very, very slicey. You got a nice titanium pocket clip on here. Thank you for not just doing a regular stamped out titanium pocket clip on here. You got a little curvature to go with the body of the knife. You have multiple variants, but I really love their stone washed ano. I love how it has what looks like an acid wash going on, and then they kind of pelt it to get back down to the raw pieces of the titanium, and then you end up with this shine. At least that's my theory on what is happening here. You got a really cool backspacer. It's not just some plain Jane filler backspacer, which honestly would have been fine, but I like this. It gives it a little bit of character. I don't really feel it when I'm holding it in hand. The only thing that I really feel is the aggressive jimping here behind the blade and a good spot out of the cutting path. It's going to be really good to make sure that you're locked in this position. It feels a little small for me, for my hands, but I think a medium to a large hand, this is going to be really good. It's going to lock you in nicely. Now, if you do have that medium hand, you probably can even choke up a little bit here for a little bit more control, or if you're doing some detailed work and you have larger hands like I have, it's going to be good for getting into packages and things of that where you want to kind of control and guide it through the cut. It's going to do really well. It does have a little bit of a belly, but I think between the thumb stud and here, you have enough straight edge to be able to break down, a box or two once you've opened a package if you want to get it into your recycling. Lockup coming in at 35 to 40%, I would say, and your lock bar access is okay. It's really good if you like to do that European style, just kind of slide it over and close it very gentlemanly. But if you like to drop them, this for me with the larger hands, a little bit tight. Not my favorite access. The detent on this is tuned extremely well. I think I might have over tightened this in the unboxing because the action's a little off here. It was much smoother, so I'm going to back it out a little bit more and just check to make sure that I didn't create any play. Nope, locked up solid. Yeah, that's much better. And much better. It's dropping as soon as I disengage. Yeah. So I may have, it was really loose when I got it in the unboxing. So I just wanted to tighten it up and, make sure that it had a proper review, and it locked up. So no issues there. Lifting up too, very comfortable. I would say okay. I take that back. Not very comfortable. I would say it's okay. You can get in there and pull up on it, but you kind of dig just a touch. It's not awful, but you do have to dig up a little bit. Thumb studs, very plain, very Benchmade like, and my favorite. These are just, no matter what you see, these and then the new ones that they're doing on the budget line, these thumb studs are my absolute favorite thumb studs on these knives. They are very good with traction. You can really get into them. You can sit right on top of them and fire it. You can get underneath for the reverse flick to kick it up. And these are a little bit of an older style, but I love them. If you scratch or they wear them down, I love the fact that they're removable, so you can anodize to freshen the color up, which I actually did on a Wii that I'm going to bring out here in a minute to kind of compare to this one. I like that a lot. They did some milling above the lock bar on the lock bar side, and then they did a lot of milling. I mean, a lot of milling on the show side. I mean, it is a ton of milling. I have a flashlight. I always struggle with this because I feel like when I go to edit, I feel like it's just way too bright for the camera. So hopefully you can see just tons of milling there, and then all of the milling there above the lock bar, and even on the lock bar a little bit. I couldn't see that at first, but even a little bit on the lock bar. So they definitely did their due diligence to make sure that this came in under 3.5 ounces. It is a very cool knife, but it is coming in at $260. So is it worth it? In my opinion, no. And that's because there's another knife that is a little bit cheaper than that is superior to me both in style and offering. Now, the Wii Hyphen is a skosh smaller overall in length because the blade goes out just a little bit further, and then the handle goes out just a little bit further as well. But here's what I really like. The ergos on the Hyphen are better because you have this forward finger choil. That allows someone with large hands like myself to comfortably, without squeezing, get all 4 fingers on the knife, and it's just very comfortable to hold. The swedge here lands in the correct spot for my thumb to land comfortably. I like to do a lot of opening of packages with this one, and I've even on a pinch just broken down an Amazon box to throw it in the recycling bin, but I'm not really breaking down boxes with this. I'm carrying it in the 5th pocket in my pouch. It does work as a summertime carry. I don't remember the weight, but when I put this in my shorts, when I want a lighter carry, I don't feel like I'm hitting a weight that's going to pull the pants down. So it's the exact same 3.4 ounces. So that is a negligible difference. And then I would say if you like the look of the Riff Raff better, go with that one. The only difference I will say is, while I do really love this pocket clip a lot, I love the fact that they did this more flat milled titanium instead of the angled. But this one actually goes in and out of the pocket so much better. This one here kind of starts to push the pocket down, and then you break past it and it'll go. And it's a very strong pocket clip. This one here, a little bit more springy in the initial engagement, and then it kind of stiffens up. This one here is a little bit more stiffer as you hit that midpoint of where you would like for it to kind of break and give way. The other thing that I think is a little bit better on the hyphen is the lock bar access. For whatever reason, because this scallop is a little bit sharper and this one here is a little bit more gradual, if you look at the two of them, it's just easier to come up in here, and I don't know if you'll be able to see it on camera, but it has these little micro milling lines that they threw up on the lock bar here that's not on the Riff Raff. So for me, it gains a little bit of traction. It's not a substantial difference. The big difference is the longer scallop and the more section here makes it easier to get in to drop it to the thumbnail so that you can just let it come home very naturally. And then it's just as good as the Riff Raff, or if not better, if you like to do that European start to close and then move it over. And it's really good coming from the forward finger twirl, lifting up with the middle finger and closing. That works really well, or you can do the index finger. I would say the detent, that was my fault. I don't have the pocket clip in the left hand, so I slipped off the knife. The detent might be a little bit better on the Riff Raff. Yeah, I think the detent's a little bit stronger on the Riff Raff, and it might be because it has a bigger lock bar cutout. It may be that's why this is feeling a little bit, just a little bit stronger. Yeah, this I would say is more medium. I would say this one is closer to strong without being too bad, but on the adverse, this feels smoother on the close, like it wants to drop quicker, and this one does not. Now, I've had this one for quite a long time. I really like this one. You know, I like it when I've kept it around this long, because usually when I need to move knives to fund the channel and content, I move things along. I've actually put my own edge on here. I love the hollow grind over top of the flat grind as well, as if we're talking about differences in comparison. It doesn't come with the gold. I did the gold anodizing myself because I thought it kind of matched the pivot a little bit more, the weave color in the pivot, and just kind of brought that out. And I like just a touch of contrast on the knife as well. So I thought the that gold bronze looks really good on the hyphen. But this is not a bad pickup. You know, if you like the looks and the style of it better, and you don't mind that it's flat ground instead of hollow ground, and if you don't like the acid etch wash blade, then this is going to be a little bit cleaner for you. It's a really cool knife. I do like it. You can definitely be confident in picking it up and feeling like it's very well done, and it's going to be one that serves you well, especially if you're looking for a companion carry. If you're looking for something under 3 inches, this is not it. Again, 3.12 inches on that 20 CV, so it's going to be just over 3, so that is not going to get you there. Whereas the hyphen, if you do need something that is 3 inches, I believe the hyphen's coming in at like 2.97, and you can see that difference here. It is from the pivot probably about, do I have something flatter than this? Yeah, I do. Here we go. This doesn't look like it has too much contouring, and it is a little subjective to where I'm putting the flashlight, like if I'm sitting it out a little bit or not. I'm trying to get to the tip of the Riff Raff. Oh, I see a little bit of wood, and I think I'm crooked. So there you go, about that much of a difference. I don't even know if that shows up on camera. I'll try to zoom that part out if I remember, or my editor anyway. But cool knife. I like what Wee does. I think they have some of the most gorgeous anodized work here with this etch stone washing anodizing. It comes out looking really good. I'd love to know how to actually get it done. I took one of their stone washed raw finished ones and anodized it. Unfortunately, the spring is somewhere in this bedroom. I have no idea where it went. So the first time it kind of popped out when I'd opened, I thought I had it covered and I didn't hear it move. So I kind of picked the piece up to move it, and then it shot, hit this blind, and then it bounced right here on the windowsill. Then the second time, the stop pin wasn't flush, so it was kind of rocking a little bit. And when I went to put it back together, it wouldn't seat. So I put it down, I covered it, and I lifted the piece off, and then I moved the piece to the side, and I guess it shifted and it shot. I heard it hit that blind behind you. I heard it hit the table, and then I didn't hear any other noise. So I'm thinking it may have landed in something soft. And there's a couple of spots here, and I haven't checked those, but I did like a magnet flashlight all over the floor. I checked the bed. I had my suitcase out at the time because I was packing for the beach. I don't know where it went, but my point being is, if you get the raw, you can get this effect and maybe do a different color. All that to say that. Thanks for bearing with me through all of that. Let me know what you think about the Wii Riff Raff. Is this a good one? Is this one you would pick up? Do you agree on my alternative recommendation about the Hyphen? Would you go with the Hyphen over this for that price point? I think it's a very interesting knife for the money. Of course, you could just spend a little less than 200, get a very similar heat treat, 59 to 61 on your M390 here from your Miguron Keurig tube. You get micro milling instead of the stone wash, and I think they have a black washed handle, if I recall correctly. This one here, I would consider this a little bit more of a medium knife. It is going to be about that much bigger on either end, and you got that dedicated forged choil there, so very comfortable for the four finger grip. And then the again elongated lock bar I have found is, if you hit that right in the middle, it is just the money for that. And then you get front flipper and you get opening hole. So there you go, under 200. If you're on a super budget, I mean, I would probably just go with the Civivi Cubit. I really like that one a lot. Kind of regret selling that. Someone asked me if I'd be willing to sell it, because I tend to give followers a little bit better of a deal, and I miss it. I kind of regret selling it. I don't rotate my budget stuff in as much as my mid, like that $200 to $300 range stuff, but what I've started doing lately is incorporating it as a third option. I've figured out how to carry it all. So let me know what you think about this one down in the comments below. Do you agree with the recommendations? And I want to give a shout out to everyone out there that leaves the likes, that comments, that is subscribes, that comes by for the lives on Wednesday at 6:30. I appreciate you coming to hang out with me. It's a lot of fun and I enjoy it. Hope you have a fantastic week. I love you guys, and until next time, peace.